guys. Thank you, bro. I hear you. Thank you. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Impact Investing Show with your host, Samuel I Can Win It Can Win. Guys, I do apologize for that little technical hiccup where we had no audio coming through. We had a bit of an equipment change today, so as a direct result, we've had a few things going a little bit differently, but I hope you're doing well. Let me start by saying welcome to the show. This is episode 49 of the Impact Show, where we talk all things property, and this is the Impact Investing channel, the place where you get creative property investing on demand. So if you haven't been here before and you're brand new, why don't you consider subscribing? If you get any value throughout today's video, I'd also encourage you to hit the like button and let the YouTube algorithm, the YouTube world, understand and know that this is the place where you get creative property investing on demand. Now, as it says on the little ticker below, don't forget to say hi in the comments. I've already got the comments blowing up. I got Mrs. I Can Win admin in the chat who says no audio. Hopefully that's all fixed for you guys right now. I got Susie4 in the chat who says no audio. Thank you ever so much, Susie4, for coming to our rescue also and letting us know that there was no audio. Now, hopefully the audio issues are fixed. I had the member of the team letting me know, member of the family letting me know that the audio issues were happening. And guys, it looks like the chat has already been blowing off prior to the show even beginning. We got Rex Banner in the comments who says hi. We've got Maria in the comments who says hi everyone. We got Yogesh, a regular viewer, who's up in the comments at 9:30 on the dot. Well done, Yogesh, for being on time to the show. Yogesh says hi also. Guys, it's great to have everybody tuned in. It's great to have everybody locked in and locked on and ready to go for tonight's show. So let me know if you're really ready to go. If you are ready to go, let me see RTG in the chat. Let me see ready to go in the comments. Let me see that you guys are ready to go, and we will jump into episode 49. Okay, we will jump straight into episode 49. Now, whilst you guys are getting your comment fingers ready to type ready to go in the chat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you, for those of you who are brand new to the channel, those of you who are brand new to the Impact Show, how we even ended up being here. What is the reason that we're even here now? A number of months ago, last year, nearly a whole year to be exact, I was hosting one of the largest networking events in the UK. Okay, it was the Canary Wharf Property Investors Network meeting, and we would generally attract on a month-to-month basis 100+ people to our networking event every single month to connect, to talk, and to hear speakers as they discussed and basically shared with us insights about property investing. And it's interesting because when you're the host of such a large meeting, you get to meet so many people, and I was used to having 20-30+ people at the end of every evening waiting in a queue to come and speak to me about my property investing journey, about what I had done in property, about how I could potentially help them move further faster in their property investing journeys too. And one of the things that happened, obviously, as many of us know, in the UK, in the month of March, after we had our last Canary Wharf pin meeting live, we were basically shut down through means of the lockdown and all of the other things that basically transpired. Now, as a result of that, unfortunately, I lost touch with people. And, you know, I'm a people person. I love to connect with people, love to share value with people. So that was something that was really missing for me. Now, yes, we transitioned into online networking events, but as you know, and as I know, it's just not the same. So whilst we were doing these online networking events, what happened is I had people just connecting with me through social media, Facebook messaging me, WhatsApping me, sending me Instagram messages. Guys, I'm not even comfortable with using Instagram yet. My wife has to show me how to use the app. But again, I had people sending me Instagram messages, WhatsApp messages, Facebook messages, reaching out to me on Facebook, saying to me, you know what, Samuel, I need help. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I transition in this particular climate with all of the things that were taking place? How do I actually start to win in my property investing journey? And the reality is I could try my best to help all of these people, but I kept finding that I was getting too many questions from too many people in too short of a period of time. So I said to my team, look guys, what can we do in order to help these people? There are so many people that need help. I had coaching clients reaching out to me that needed help. I had students who were on an online program reaching out to me saying they needed help. And the team had a fantastic idea. They came up with this idea. They said, Samuel, all you need to do is make yourself available on a regular basis in order to allow people to connect and find answers, strategy in the midst of the storm. Now, look, this was such a powerful thing that was shared by the team, allow people to actually come and find strategy in the midst of the storm. So I said, okay, you know what, guys, you are right. This is what we're going to do. And thus the Impact Show was born. Now, the first production, the first release of the Impact Show was slightly different to this. What we were actually doing was specifically focusing on helping people strategize through the storm. And the way that we basically did that was we would say, look, call in, send in your chat messages, send in your questions, and we would take questions. No question too big, no question too small, as many people know is one of my mottos. So we would answer people's questions. So for those of you who are looking for strategy in terms of property investing, specifically in this current climate, what you can go and do is go and check out the previous videos from episode 1 all the way to today, episode 49. And again, sometimes I even marvel thinking, how did we actually really get here? But the reality is you can tap into that, because that as a resource is readily available for you all for free on the YouTube platform. Now, again, since then, we've had a number of people who've said, you know what, Samuel, this is so valuable. I want to become one of your students. People have said, you know what, I want to be one of your coaching clients. But predominantly, regardless of all of that, whilst we were helping these people strategize through the storm, we realized something very profound. We realized that if you take all of the amalgamation of all of the information we were sharing and you put it all together, what we were actually showing people, what we were actually teaching people, what we were actually equipping people with was actually how to successfully invest in property. And that's it. We were effectively just teaching people how to invest in property. So the show morphed from the Impact Show, specifically strategy in the storm, to the Impact Show, specifically how to invest in property. And guys, let me tell you something. I've been having a blast week in, week out, showing up to support and help you guys on your property investing journey, to help you guys move further, faster as it pertains to property. Now, look, let me do this. If you're someone who's been on this show in any way, shape or form over the years, okay, over the months, let me say, it's nearly a year. If you're someone who's been on this show over the months in any way, shape or form and have received value, what I would like for you to do is just write the word value in the chat. Okay, just write the one comment, value, in the chat if you've received any value. Okay, if you're one of the people that were with us last month we had an amazing guest. We had one of my close contacts, Dana Byfield, a coach, a business coach, okay, an entrepreneur herself, who came on board last week in order to share some real key insights with myself as it pertains to how you can successfully move forward as an entrepreneur. And guys, this is what this channel is all about. This is what we're all about, being here on the Impact Show every single week. Now, I've got a question in the chat. I believe this question is from Yogesh. Yogesh says in the comments, is this new time of the show? Okay, the answer is that's up to you. Okay, it's a really funny answer, but that's the reality. That's up to you. Let us know, guys. Okay, because this is something I tell the team all the time. This show is not about me. This show is not for us. This show is our attempt to show up on a regular basis and add value to you guys as a community. So if you guys would prefer this later session of the show where it's a bit more, you know, chilled out, 9:30 p.m. at night, let me know, guys. If you guys prefer the time we've had most regularly, which is 6 p.m. on a Saturday, let me know. Now, I appreciate on a Saturday for some people, 6 p.m. is fairly early. So some people might want it a bit later. But guys, let me know. I'm open to receiving your views and your comments in that regard. All right. Now, guys, as we just voyage through this part of the episode, let me do this. Let me just encourage you, first and foremost, if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, why don't you subscribe? And side by side with that, why don't you hit the bell notification so you can be made, you know, aware every single time we are going live, regardless of what time, whether it is the later 9:30 version. I've got Yogesh in the comment who says he prefers about 8 p.m. Please, I love that. Yogesh added in the please. But guys, let us know. You know, every single viewer counts. Every single viewer means something to us. Every single viewer is a person. Okay, this isn't one of those YouTube channels, or this isn't one of those YouTube engagements. This isn't one of those shows where you as a viewer are just a statistic. Okay, your views matter, which is the reason why we do this, which is the reason why we put the chat on the screen, which is the reason why we're interested in building a community. So as property investors and as people, we can move further, faster in our property investing journey. I got Susie4 in the chat who says, hi, good evening to you, Susie4. Great to have you on the show again this evening, and great to see you coming back to join us in order to get more and more value. So Guys, let us know. Great question to ask. Let us know what time is ideal for you in terms of the impact show. Now, again, guys, no promises. Obviously, I don't assume everyone's going to say the same time. But if everybody does say the same time, then boy, that's a compelling argument for us to push towards that time. Now, as I've mentioned, I've got Yogesh in the comments. He's already said he prefers 8 p.m. Please, I got Rex in the comment. Rex, again, welcome to the show. Great to have you on again this evening. Rex says 6:30 is a bit early and 9:30 is a little bit late for me. So again, Rex is kind of siding with Yogesh's 8, I assume. Now, let's look at the value comments. We got Yogesh in the comments. He's got us a little halo angel and he puts value in the comments. We got Susi4 who says value, and we've also got Rex who says value. So that tells me that you guys have received significant value over the time we have been showing up live on the impact show. And guys, I appreciate you. I thank you for that, because that is the reason we do what we do. We're not here just for the sake of being here. We're here to add value to the community of property investors who we know we are working with, who we're trying to support, and who we're trying to help move further, faster in their property investing journey. Now, if you're ready to jump in, let me see the words jump in the chat. If you're ready to jump in, let me see the words jump in, and I will jump into our first article for tonight. Let me tell you something, guys. Again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Don't forget to leave a comment and say hi. If you're in the chat, say hi. The reason why I encourage people to say hi is because you never know who you might meet in the chat. We've had people connect in the chat and start to do things together in terms of their property journeys. So again, utilize the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Engage in that chat, say something, say hi, let everybody know that you're here. If you're new, if you're brand new to the channel, if you're brand new to the show, just write the word new. Everybody in the chat who's been here before knows what the word new means. So again, just write the word new and we will welcome you. All right, now let me jump into the show disclaimer so we are safe with whatever we share for the rest of tonight. And the show disclaimer states all information provided and results given are exemplary. Each person's results may vary or differ. Results are based on consistent implementation of strategies, and we advise that you always, not sometimes, not most times, but always seek legal and financial advice from a qualified professional. And I like to always add, if you need help finding a qualified professional, finding a qualified financial or legal professional, let us know. And as you let us know, we will connect you, help you, point you in the right direction in terms of how you can find the right people to work with moving further and faster in your property investing journey. Now, some appreciation. I just want to share firstly that I appreciate every single person who's hit subscribe, every single person who has hit like, not just on this video, but any of our previous videos, those people that have subscribed to any of our channels, specifically my family channel or this channel. Those of you who will know I'm doing a lot more on my family channel now, letting a few people know the man behind the brand, as it were. So guys, for those of you who have subscribed, those of you who have been a part of our journey, I just want to share some big appreciation. Many of you know that we're currently in the process of building out our purpose-built content creation studio. And for those of you who have contributed in any way, whether it be financially through the link impactproperties.co.uk/donation, or whether it be through means of actual items for the studio, so that you will see your investment when we actually launch the studio build, or when we actually launch the studio from the build, through means of going to the Amazon wish list, impactproperties.co.uk/studio build. A great big thank you to all of you guys. You guys make a difference. You make a massive difference. You make a real tangible difference. And again, when that content creation studio is up and running, you guys will see the fruit of your labor through means of seeing the devices around. Like right now, you guys can see one of the monitors, for example, but all of this stuff is coming from you guys and through you guys. So we appreciate you guys. Obviously, we are putting in X amount of funds in order to make things happen, but we just want to appreciate those of you that are participating with us and running on this journey with us as well, because together we make things happen. All right, so I got Yogesh in the comments who says jump in. I am loving this. Oh my gosh, that is a strong comment. So Maria says in the chat, value and Samuel are hand in hand. There is no value without Samuel. Maria, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. That is a powerful comment. Just to see statements like that are the reminders. Okay, they are the reminders. They're the reminders for me to keep doing what I do, but they should be the reminders for you guys to keep doing what you do. And that's the little things, like I was sharing appreciation for a moment ago. They're hitting the like, they're hitting subscribe, they're being a part of our community, they're saying hi in the comments. Those little things you do add to this whole engagement. It adds to people understanding, okay, you know what, this is an environment for me. This is a place where I can learn more about property, but this is also a place where I can share my own experience through means of the questions that you ask, or through means of the comments, or through means of the comments that you make. So again, Maria, thank you ever so much for that comment. Powerful comment. Value and Samuel are hand in hand. There is no value without Samuel. I appreciate you, and I think that's an extremely powerful comment. So without further ado, I got Yogesh saying jump in. I got Susie4 who says jump in. So without further ado, we are going to jump into our news article for tonight, loading up the chat below. We will probably be having the phone lines open fairly soon as well. I give it about 5 or 10 minutes and the phone lines will basically open up for you guys to also give us some kind of questions. Okay, I got Susie4 asking a question. Can you explain exactly what this studio build exactly is? Yes, I can do that. I'll do that in a moment, and then we'll jump straight into the article. So I think our article is going to be all good for us today in order for us to have the full engagement with it. I think the team actually sorted out our web browser, our online web browser, the other day, so you guys should see the web browser moving hopefully. And yes, it's all good. So let's jump straight in. So just to answer Susie4's question first and foremost, okay, so again, this is for everybody can participate and or engage in what I'm about to share. But again, because Susie4 asked the question, this is why I am basically sharing this. So we are in the process right now. This show is run from a piece of my office. Okay, so part of my office, I have a setup where I basically broadcast these live shows. Okay, and not only these live shows, but a lot of the content I actually do in terms of my property investing journey is actually done through means of my actual office. Okay, and this is the same office where I do my property deals. It's the same office where I negotiate. Those of you who've been to this office, again, it's not many of you that are on the live show that maybe have been here, but those of you who have been to this office, you know, I've got my Impact Properties banner up, I've got my whiteboards up, I've got a whole bunch of stuff here. I've got, you know, my strategy blueprint on the wall, you know, picture of my wife, etc. You know, I've got a whole bunch of posters, you know, books I read, all of this stuff, because this is actually my home office where you guys are seeing this. And yes, you know, this is my map. I actually use this map in terms of our property business. So I broadcast to you guys on a weekly basis, on a regular basis, sometimes even more often than weekly. Those of you who were with us on the 1st to the 21st of January, you would know that I spent 21 days live streaming every single day from the 1st to the 21st of January, again, from right here, from my actual office. Now, what I wanted to do, spoke to the team about this, and I said to the team, look, let's go and find a space that we can build out as a purpose-built content creation studio. And the reason we wanted to do that is because we produce a lot of video content. And now, as of last year, I think we've been doing this for about a year and a half, really, but we've been doing a lot more live video content. And the reality is to really deliver live video content properly, you know, with the right kind of speed and all of those things, you need the right kind of equipment, you need the right kind of space, etc., etc. And just to be totally honest with you, I would prefer to not have the lights needed, to not have the cameras needed and all of those things in my actual office. I'd prefer to have all of this equipment that's currently in the office actually in a studio where we can use it, and I can separate what I'm doing in terms of my property business and what I'm doing in terms of offering value through means of content creation, live streaming, etc. to you guys in a separate environment. So what I said to my team is, look, how can we actually just get this separated? And the team said, look, let's look at actually taking on a space. So I said, okay, let's get this space, and after we get this space, let's build it out as a purpose-built content creation studio. So in that content creation studio, the plan, the intention, and I've spoken about this on some of the previous episodes where some people have obviously decided to donate, whether it be funds or whether it be through means of our Amazon wish list. But what we've basically done is we've taken on a space. I've shown that space through means of pictures. I think I showed it using pictures. I don't think I've showed any videos, even though we've actually recorded a whole video inside of the current studio. The current studio it was dilapidated. We've kind of moved on from when it was dilapidated, but the video content we put together was when it was dilapidated. But long story short, basically, we have a space which we are in the process of preparing and building out for us to have 2 editing desks. So we're going to have an editing suite inside of there, so our team can come in, do the editing of our videos and get these videos out quicker. You know, there are videos that I've spoken about that are supposed to be released that still haven't been released because we've had some issues with our editors in the past. One specific editor who was unable to do work due to COVID, etc. All of this, all of the rigmarole that happens when you have people in a remote location rather than people being able to come to one specific location and deliver value. So guests as well, you know, you guys a lot of the time on the Impact Show, the guests we have brought in, we've had those guests remote. So from a remote place, they've been able to obviously share with you guys and give you guys value. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we want to create the opportunity for those people to come on board, come inside of the physical location where we are and say to them, look, let's do this interview together. Let's do this interview live. Let's show people the real value we can give them when we start rubbing shoulders and start really breaking things down. And I mean rubbing shoulders proverbially. I'm sure most of you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But the point is, that was one of our real big desires, to build out a content creation studio where we don't just have one of my whiteboards, but we have a number of my whiteboards. We have a number of the editing suite desks. We have a number of setups so that we can actually do our live stream content, do our training content, do all of the value creation content that we produce, including our pre-recorded videos, get them edited and get them out to you guys as soon as possible. And the way we decided to do that is we put some funds together in order to get the space. We've secured the space ourselves already. We went on further besides securing the space to create a wish list on Amazon. And we've said to you as a community, look guys, if you're interested in any way, shape or form in supporting this endeavor, you can go to the link that's on the screen just down there, okay? And during that link, impactproperties.co.uk/studio build, there will be different things on our Amazon wish list from varying prices, from as low as £10 to as high as, you know, £1,000, different items of equipment that we will be purchasing over time once the studio is in the position in order for us to kit out with equipment, etc., etc. Now, obviously, many of you know, if you take a dilapidated commercial space or a dilapidated residential space or any space, you can't just use items from Amazon in order to kit the place out and be ready to go. You're going to have to, you know, buy building materials. You're going to have to get a builder in, and all of these things take money as well. So again, we've put the budget aside. We've secured the place. We've shown the place on the Impact Show through means of photos previously. And what you guys can do is, if you're interested, you can support by going to our Amazon wish list and pressing, you know, a buy on one of the items that are actually on our wish list, and that will get sent directly to the content creation studio, where we will be able to add it to the portfolio of things we've got in order to move further faster in building out the studio. Now, besides that, we've also got one other thing. We've also got the donation link that we made available. We didn't have this before, but the team put that together. The team kept saying to me, some people want to donate money. We had a number of people who actually messaged on the show and said, Samuel, how can we just donate some funds? And we've had a number of donations. And first and foremost, let me say this because I don't want to just gloss this over. I massively appreciate every single person who has donated funds, okay, specifically, you know, even because it's a whole different thing. You know, for those of you who are jumping on and donating through means of our Amazon wish list, thank you. I appreciate you. But massive appreciation goes to those who have donated funds. We've received a check from one particular person who invested in our developing of our content creation studio. We've received people donating through means of the link impactproperties.co.uk/donation as well. So guys, I just want to share with you guys, I appreciate every single one of you who are doing this. And I'll throw in the link. I'll throw the links in the chat. So if those of you who are tuned in right now are interested in connecting in that way or in any way, feel free to do so. Powerful. All right. So I didn't actually know that, but now I can see that Maria is Judy. Thank you, Judy, for showing up and letting us know who you are. I appreciate you. Great to have you on the show. Again, another person who's been voyaging with us in terms of property for quite a while. So again, it's great to have you on the show, Judy, also. All right, so guys, you can go to these links, impactproperties.co.uk/studio build if you want to jump on and grab something for our specific content creation studio from the Amazon wishlist, or side by side with that, you can jump into the link impactproperties.co.uk/donate if you're interested in grabbing something financial and basically donating that to our channel. Okay, whichever one you want to do, feel free. And again, if you don't want to do either, that's cool as well. There's no pressure. This isn't about what you guys give. This is about, for us anyway, what you guys can get. So with all of that being said, you guys said jump in a moment ago. Let me do what I love to do best, and that is jump in. Again, guys, don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell notification so you can be up to date every single time we go live. Now, news for tonight. The news article we wanted to bring to the fore tonight is Knight Frank. Okay, and this is an international article. This isn't about the London market. This isn't about the England market or the UK market specifically. What I wanted to do is I wanted to give you guys some macro tonight, so you guys can utilize the macroeconomic perspective on property and think about how that applies specifically to where we are right now. Now, this particular article was released on the 18th of March 2021, which is 2 days ago, and it basically says Knight Frank, which is one of the largest commercial property operators, reveals the latest results from its global house price index. Okay, and this is important because these documents and this data is generally produced on a quarterly basis. Okay, so each quarter, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, this kind of data comes out. If you know how to utilize this data, you can advance your property journey by leaps and bounds by understanding trends, cycles, etc. And these are all things that we talk about a lot of the time, not only on our show, but also on our channel and when we connect with coaching clients in terms of helping them understand strategies where they can win when other people are still trying to work out what they're doing in the first place. So let's jump in. The article says Turkey has the highest rate of annual house price growth in the year of Q4 2020. So again, that is a key right there. Those people who decided to jump into the Turkish market, they are actually going to be abounding because they've had the highest level of growth in the last quarter of 2020. It says, according to the latest global house price index by Knight Frank, the average change in price across the 56 countries and territories analyzed in the data was 5.6% in 2020, and that is up from 5.3% in 2019. The last time the index's annual growth figure exceeded 5.6% was in Q1 of 2018. And again, I'm not going to go into this because of the sake of time, but some of us will understand why Turkey had such prominent growth around that time, Q1 of 2018, etc., etc. Now, something I want to shed light on is, for some of us, okay, we may not be aware right now, and let me connect it. Okay, I was gonna ask guys, if you want me to connect it, let me connect it. But I'm just gonna throw something out and connect something with you guys right now. Okay, whilst Turkey's having this predominant financial growth in terms of its property market at the highest rate, okay, at 5.6% at the end of 2020, the highest rate of all of the 56 countries that were actually looked at in regards to this study. One of the things you need to understand is there are certain countries making certain decisions right now as it pertains to some of the medical things going on in the world, again, due to, you know, the P word, the C word, the V word that are all taking place right now in this current season. Now, with all of those things going on, Turkey has recently also announced, and again, it's something of interest to some of you, Turkey have also announced that they are one of the only countries that you can now fly to in this current climate, okay, without taking a test, okay, and also without taking a V. Okay, now this is very, very important. Okay, why is this important? Well, it's important because whilst their economy is soaring and booming, they are now opening up potentially themselves to also be a hub for people who are interested in not taking a specific kind of test or in not taking a specific kind of V word. Now, again, for those of you who understand what I'm talking about, you'll start to understand, well, hold on a minute, isn't that going to be more positive? Some people might see that as negative for the economy, but some people are going to understand that that is actually going to be perceived as a positive for that economy. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't see this growth in the Turkish property market slowing down. Now, again, it's not the whole of Turkey. It says there's specific territories where they've looked at, but I want you guys to understand, as viewers of this channel, there is a location which specifically has had some great growth, and potentially that growth is only going to continue because of some of the political decisions that they've made. And again, I want people to be aware of this stuff, because as a property investor, you don't want to be the person who is caught out with these kind of things. You want to be the person who knows exactly why you're investing, where you're investing, and how you're investing in order for you to move further faster in your property investing journey. All right, now with that being said, let's go further into the article. Let's look at a few other places like New Zealand, etc., so you guys can see exactly what else we're talking about. Now, it goes on to say New Zealand was found to be APAC's top performing country with 19% annual house price growth. It goes on to say, although New Zealand sits in second place, the region's next highest ranking is Japan at 5% in 27th place. Now it says housing demand and price growth remains city focused, not countrywide. In Asia, according to the data, at negative 3.6%, India is the weakest performing country in the year of Q4 2020. So what they're basically saying is when they look across markets upon the whole year of 2020, specifically focusing on the Q4, the last segment of 2020, they recognize certain trends with certain places. One of the trends they pick up in the Asian market is it's not necessarily about the whole country. There are certain parts in Asia where cities have predominant positive growth, productive growth, but the specific country, the countrywide analysis is not exactly the same. Now, why is this important? This is important, okay, because this allows us to understand that the exact same thing can be taking place here in the UK. Now, those of you who have been tuned in and connecting with us for a long time on the Impact Show, you will know this is something we've been speaking about for years. This is something which is a reality. I always speak about every single time, again, on this show for the last 11 months, and obviously on any other platform where I've presented at certain networking events, etc., that you have to look at the microeconomics in order to make your property investing decisions, but you should look at the macroeconomics, which is exactly what we're doing on tonight's episode, in order for you to understand your vantage point, your strategy, and your approach to actually investing. So again, these things are very, very important. Let's go further. We'll read a couple more paragraphs before I jump in to the chat, open it up for questions, and also open up the phone lines. It says the index shows that globally residential prices are rising at their fastest rate in nearly 3 years. Some 89% of countries and territories saw prices increase in 2020. Okay, so 2020 is a pandemic time. 2020 is a time where people will tell you no one's going out of their house, no one's buying houses, no one's doing this. But look at what's happening whilst people are on lockdown. Look at what's happening whilst people have been constrained and restrained. Whilst people have been staying in their houses, the price of the economy, of the market, is actually going up. And I want you to be mindful of this, because this is how supply and demand works. When the demand is reduced, okay, and the supply is there in abundance, what generally tends to happen is the property prices reduce, okay, because everybody's got a property for sale, so the property prices generally tend to decrease. But when the supply is a limited amount and the demand is increasing consistently, what happens is the prices begin to inflate. So if you understand that as a metric and then you look at this data, you should ask yourself, how are prices of properties increasing in a market where people have been on lockdown? Because Q4 of 2020 was lockdown central, if you think about it. Okay, second lockdown in the UK was announced in the Q4 of 2020. So you should be asking yourself that question from the macroeconomic perspective. How comes in places like India, India was a negative percentage, but let's ask about the other places. How comes in places like Turkey? How comes in places like New Zealand? How comes in some of these regions that were mentioned, like Japan, prices are increasing whilst at the same time you have human beings who are stuck in their house? Okay, I want you to be asking yourself that question. And guys, let me know if you're watching this on the replay. If you're not with us live, let us know in the comments below your thoughts on that question. How do you think property price can increase whilst people are actually at home? And proverbially, you will assume if people are at home, nobody's out buying property. Okay, now that's a great question. And for those of you who are joining us live, again, we've got a number of people with us live. Those of you I've said hello to, those of you who are viewing and haven't commented yet and haven't said hi to me, well, hi to you. But let us know in the live chat. Let us know also, what do you think? The chat and comments is right here. Just let us know what you think. How do you think it's possible that property prices increase whilst humans are actually asked to stay at home? Okay, again, it's something that I find interesting, but I understand the macroeconomics to understand why that affects the microeconomics in that regard. But I'm interested in your comments as well for those of you who are viewing. So it says, I'll go back to this paragraph. It says the index shows that globally residential prices are rising at their fastest rate in nearly 3 years. Some 89% of countries and territories saw prices increase in 2020, with several emerging markets performing strongly, including Turkey, which leads the index for the fourth consecutive quarter. So I want you to understand that. That means Turkey, again, I alluded to this earlier, but that means Turkey's had consistent growth, 4 consecutive quarters. Okay, so that's 4 consecutive segments of a year. Turkey's done well in terms of their property market. Why is that? But let's keep going. It says several markets, including New Zealand, 19%, Russia at 14%, the US at 10%, Canada and the UK both at 9%, accelerated up the rankings in the last 3 months of the year. Okay, now again, for some of us, that will make sense, especially for those of us in the UK, because as I mentioned earlier, the second lockdown was announced at the 4th quarter of the year. So at the latter part of the year, people would have had a period of time to be able to move, to be able to come out of their homes in terms of the transition from lockdown 1 to lockdown 2, and allowed people to quickly say, okay, look, I'm moving house, I'm buying this, I'm buying that, etc. And again, high increased demand results, well, without an increase in supply, results actually also in a high increase of price. Now, I'll keep going. It says low interest rates. Okay, I hope you're hearing this. Low interest rates are fueling demand whilst inventory levels are tight in some markets, with sellers reluctant to market their property until they can identify their next home for themselves, according to Knight Frank. It goes on to say the data shows that the travel bans in place, demand is coming from domestic buyers who have reassessed their lifestyles since the pandemic hit. Many now seeking home offices and outdoor space, but not all markets are on the up. Okay, I'm going to read that one more time for those of you who have maybe just joined us right now. Not all markets, okay, are on the up. I'm going to go deeper so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. It says here, Europe is one world region where Knight Frank suggests that a gulf is emerging. Okay, I hope people are paying attention to this information, because this is statistical information collated from a number of nations by Knight Frank and shared with you guys. Again, does it mean you just have to believe what they're saying and do something based on what they're saying? No, not necessarily. But having an understanding of the macroeconomics of property allows you to be more effective in your microeconomic investment in property. Let's keep going, guys. If you're getting value from this content we're sharing just from this article through means of Property Wire, let me know. Write the word value in the chat. If you guys want this link, let me know. Also, just write the word link in the chat. As you guys know, we will share the link with you. And for those of you who are watching on a replay, all the links are in the description. Let me go back and share this again, and then just go deeper into the last couple of sentences to wrap up this article, or to wrap up the first part of the article. It says, but not all markets are on the up. Europe is one region where Knight Frank suggests that a gulf is emerging. Austria, 10%, Germany, 8%, and France, 6% are moving ahead of Italy, 1%, and Spain, -2%. Rose says in the chat, value. Thank you, Rose. We appreciate your comment. Now, the reason why this is important, okay, now some people might not have seen this, but when the actual lockdown started, when all of the noise about the C word and the V word and all of these things and the lockdowns, the L word, started last year in March, if you guys can remember, some people won't remember, but Spain was one of the nations that was most heavily publicized. Italy was one of the nations that was most heavily publicized as having an issue. These nations were so heavily publicized that there was an issue, that what you're going to have to understand. We got KTR in the chat who says hi and value. KTR, welcome to the stream. Great to have you on tonight. You see, these nations were some of the nations where they were so negatively publicized that it's going to have an effect on tourism, one, and then secondarily, desire for people to stay in those nations. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. And these are the things that have a knock-on effect on the property market. People a lot of the time do not think about that. You may have a house that you're trying to sell, for example, and you want to get top dollar for your house, but you may be in a market like the Spanish market or like the Italian market, which at the beginning of March 2020 was basically being placed on the news every single day for the wrong reason, for, you know, numbers and numbers and numbers of people who were being told had contracted the C word. Now, what you have to understand is these things have knock-on effects. People sometimes don't understand the ramifications that news, publicity, you know, mass media has on a property market. And this is why we do this show, to give you guys the real glimpses and the real insights so you guys can utilize this in your property investing. So let's keep moving, because I know you guys already said that you're getting value from this. Thank you ever so much, those of you who have commented it. So it says Spain, -2%. Let's keep going down. Now, Knight Frank says strict lockdowns, rising unemployment, and a surplus of supply. Okay, I'm going to read those 3 words again. Powerful. I just see the comment coming in from Maria Slaughter. I'm going to be reading that in a moment, but a very, very powerful comment. Very, very powerful comment. I'm going to come back to that because that is an extremely powerful comment. But let me read this again. It says strict lockdowns, okay? Rising unemployment. And again, you can guess the kind of nations which had the highest levels of rising unemployment as a result of the C word earlier on last year and also earlier on this year. But it says strict lockdowns, rising unemployment, and a surplus of supply in some areas is reportedly leading to weaker price inflation in these southern European economies, according to Knight Frank. Knight Frank suggests the speed with which the V word is rolled out and economies reopen will directly affect the performance of housing markets in 2021. Please, please, please listen to this, guys. All right. It goes on to say the index stated that as policymakers step away from stimulus measures, leaving jobs and mortgages less protected, we may see prices weaken, but the easing of travel bans may see cross-border transactions start to recover, mitigating some of this impact. Okay, so there's more I could jump into. There's another article that I was interested in reading, but again, for the sake of time, we spent quite a bit of time talking about a few other things. Now, Maria Slaughter, the infamous Judy, says here, people don't want to live with people for fear of what they might catch. Totally correct. And again, this goes back to the C word, V word, lockdown, all of those other things. Fear will make them make financial decisions that they were not courageous enough to do before. And I think that is totally right. And I want to say this because I want people to understand this. Fear doesn't only make people make financial decisions they were not courageous enough to make before. Fear also causes people to make financial decisions that they should never make, such as staying in a particular location or such as quickly moving to a particular location. Now, every single Monday at 8 p.m., we run a masterclass, okay? And in that masterclass, we teach how to invest in property in this current climate and win with all of the things that are taking place, with all of the changes that are going on. Now, why have we been doing that? The reason we've been doing that is for one simple reason, because most people, when they're afraid, move in haste. Okay, they move in haste, and as a result, they don't get to a place where they actually make the right decision when they are afraid. So again, you need to be thinking about this as a property investor. Are you doing that or are you not? Maria Slaughter goes on to say high demand increases prices, and that is totally correct. High demand generally tends to increase prices unless there is an increase in supply at the same time, or some kind of relative increase in supply. So guys, look, this is the article I wanted to share with you guys. I knew this article would be insightful. I knew it would open up some of your eyes to what's going on in terms of the macro level. What I want to do right now is I'm going to jump into the live chat. Let's see if we've got specific questions. I'm also going to open up the phone line. For those of you who haven't hit like already, hit that like button. For those of you who haven't pressed subscribe and you're watching this content and getting value from this content, hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell notification so you can stay up to date every single time we go live. So the question is, what property challenges are you facing? As I usually say, there is no question too big, no question too small. And right now the telephone line is open. You can grab your phone, okay, once they've got it showing properly. Thank you, team. But you can grab your phone, guys, and you can let us know right now, okay, what kind of property challenges you may be facing. And for those of you who cannot see the phone line because the phone line is slightly cut out, I can see that it's slightly cut out. So team, can you mend that for me, please, so that people can see the telephone line? It is 0330 606 0403. The access code is also on the screen for those of you who do want to call in and call in live. Okay, phone lines open right now for those of you who want to call in, those of you who have specific questions. And whilst we keep the phone line open, I'm going to go through the chat and see if we have any specific questions as it pertains to tonight's show. Guys, throw your questions in the chat. Again, those of you in the chat, feel free to help with any answers if need be. But side by side with that, let's get this going. Let's try and see how many people we can help before we end tonight's show. Let me see, guys, what questions do you have as it pertains to your property investing journey? All right, so scrolling up into the chat. Okay, so we got this first comment from Judy. Maria Slaughter says in the chat, she's remortgaging for a rate change in August and starting the process now. Excuse me. Can she refinance and draw finance out, but changing the deposit amount from 4 years ago? Okay, I get the question. Thank you ever so much. It's a powerful question. So for those of you who are tuning in, the question that's been asked by Judy Maria Slaughter, the question that's been asked is, they're currently remortgaging for a rate change, obviously from, I assume, from a higher rate to a lower rate, and they're going to be doing that in August. They want to know if as they're starting the process now, will they be able to refinance and draw finance out, but change the deposit amount from 4 years ago where it was 25% loan to a 25% deposit, i.e. a 75% loan to value, to a 10% deposit, which is a 90% loan to value. Now, this question, the answer depends. Okay, so what does it depend on? One of the factors it depends on is what type of mortgage product you have. Now, I'm going to assume if you have a 25% deposit on that property, I'm assuming, and again, it's just an assumption, that this is a buy to let property. Okay, and if it's a buy to let property, a lot of the conversations that have been taking place with the new legislative changes about 90% mortgages, etc., do not relate specifically to buy to let properties. They relate to first time buyers, second home buyers, and buyers buying for residential purposes. Okay, so the answer to that question, if the 25% deposit was placed on a property that is for buy to let purposes, is most likely no. However, okay, and this is where you get creative investing on demand, so we got to get creative with this. However, I would advise you to make sure you go and speak with a qualified mortgage broker. I can connect you with the kind of mortgage broker that you may need in order to do the kind of thing that you're talking about in this question, and ask them the question, because what they might do is they might be able to help you maybe rejig your portfolio, or side by side with rejigging your portfolio, reposition that specific property in order to help you tap into that equity. So Maria Slaughter, Judy, let me know in the comments how many stars you give to that answer. If that answers your question, is that a 10-star, 4-star, 8-star, 5-star, etc., etc.? Let us know in the comments how many stars you give to that answer. All right, now with that being said, let's take a quick look and see what other questions we have. I'm also going to be mindful to keep my eye on the telephone line, because I think we've muted it today, so I might not hear. So again, if you are someone who's calling in, just feel free to let me know in the chat that I'm on the phone line as well, and then that way I will definitely know that you're on the phone line when you come through. All right, so any other questions? Let's look through the chat, see if there's any other questions. Okay, we got Yogesh's question. Is this the new time of the show? We answered that. Yogesh said he'd like the 8 p.m. please. Rex said 6:30 is too early, 9:30 is a little late. And it's interesting because we did do 8 p.m. a few times. Rex says between 8 and 8:30 could be a happy medium. I like that comment. Thank you so much. But yeah, guys, I think we have done the live show at 8 o'clock a few times. And again, you know, it's about you guys. It's about what works for our community. Okay, so Yogesh is the next person with a question. Okay, Yogesh says here, question for later. Trying to sell a property, but tenant won't allow viewings. Powerful, that happens a lot. Yogesh says the only option he thinks is to give the tenant notice to leave. Any other suggestions? Yeah, offer them money. Okay, just to be simple. Obviously, I can go a bit more deeper into that, but just very, very simply, one of the things you can do, Yogesh, is say to them, look, I'm in the process of selling this property. I don't know if the new buyer is going to be interested in obviously keeping you as a tenant, but my plan, and again, this does depend, Yogesh. Are you selling this house with the tenant in situ, i.e. with the tenant staying? For those of you who don't know what in situ means, are you selling the property with the tenant staying inside, or are you selling the property with the tenant moving out first? Again, I know you've asked a question similar to this or connected to this on one of the previous shows. So I assume that you're trying to sell the property with the tenant staying in, so you don't have any gaps in rent. So if you are trying to sell the property with the tenant staying in, my advice would be speak to the tenant, say to the tenant, look, I'm going to be selling this property without relinquishing your tenancy. That's my plan. Now, if you're going to be unwilling to allow people to view, I want you to think about what kind of image that presents to the new buyer. Because if the new buyer is going to make a decision to buy a property with a tenant inside, they're going to make that decision purely based on the numbers, purely based on the financials. And if they get to a place or an experience where they believe that this is a problematic tenant, i.e. they didn't want me to view the property, etc., they're probably not going to have an allegiance to that tenant and probably going to want to get rid of that tenant as soon as possible. But obviously, if that tenant does allow viewings, that tenant does get to connect with the buyer, the potential buyer, that tenant obviously puts themselves in a better position to not be served the Section 21 when the house is sold. So again, that's just some of my views. Susie4 has a question. Okay, that was a question we answered a little while ago. Can you explain what this studio build exactly is? We are building a purpose-built content creation studio to give you guys more value, to be live, hopefully more often, to be live with better internet speeds, faster internet speeds, to produce more video content on demand for you guys, so you guys can understand more about how I actually use creativity in my own property investing business, as well as, you know, some of the deals I've done. We just want to give you guys more value, and we need more space in order to do that. So we've already secured the space. We've shown some pictures of that on some of the previous weeks. I'll try and see if you guys are interested in that. I'll try and see if I can get some of those pics up, because if I can get some of those pics up, then again, that might be helpful for you guys to see exactly what I'm talking about. But again, I'll try and see if we can get some of those pics up so you guys can see exactly what we're planning to do in the studio. Let me know if that will be helpful. Let me know if that's what you're interested in. If you're interested in seeing some pics of the studio. I don't know if I've still got them on the computer, but if we have them on the computer, hopefully I'll be able to get them, to show you guys. All right, so okay, let me just keep checking. Any other questions? I can see you guys are asking a lot of questions today. That's awesome. Thank you ever so much for all your questions, guys. We love having those questions thrown in the chat. It helps every single person move further, faster in their property investing journey. So we appreciate you guys for throwing those questions in. Okay. Okay, so I can't seem, I know we've got a few other questions near the bottom. Okay, cool. So let's jump into this. Thank you guys for throwing these questions in. Okay, I got my man Osa Kimwin in the chat. Welcome, sir. Thank you for being with us on tonight's show. Okay, so Judy asked this question, or makes this statement: ask your lodger for someone to come in to do a video, show the video to the potential investor, then it is only a limited amount of people that will need to view. Powerful. That's a powerful answer to Yogesh's question as well. Judy, thank you for that. A very, very powerful insight and answer. So again, that's another thing you can try to do. I mentioned at the top, offer them money. Just let them know, look, I want to conduct a viewing. I'm happy to pay you in order for you to help me conduct the viewing, because I won't be using an estate agent. And you might just say that in order for them to do it, and just say to them, what's reasonable for you for me to pay you to find out. And again, please don't offer them an amount of money. Offer to pay them and allow them to tell you how much would be reasonable to them. And that's usually a better way to start a conversation. But again, utilizing what Judy said as well is also quite powerful. Ask the specific person for if they can let someone in just to do a video of the property, so that You don't need the actual buyer viewing. So again, things to think about. All right, let's see what other questions we have. Okay. All right, so Rex has got a question in here. I've got Live Lounge, who's jumped in as well. Live Lounge, welcome to the stream. Live Lounge, let us know, is this your first time on the show? If it is, just write the word new. Let us be able to welcome you as a newcomer to the show also. So Rex asked this question: does anyone know approximately how much the typical conversion cost of a HMO in London would be? Okay, again, this really depends, Rex, on how you're converting. If you're converting for like a rent-to-rent purpose, obviously you don't want to spend all the amounts of money to go into something like this, and you could probably get that done, you know, on a rent-to-rent basis, probably for around 6k, 4.5k, 8k, around those amounts. You could say probably from 4.5 to 8,000 pounds on a rent-to-rent basis. If you're just taking a traditional conventional house which already has enough rooms, into, you know, compliant fire doors, the appropriate upgraded electronics, and obviously switchboard, circuit board, as well as the integrated lighting, smoke alarms, etc. So for those basics, probably between 4.5 and 8 grand. The reason I'll give you those figures, and it's a bit of a range, but the reason I'll give you that range is if you're someone who's doing this regularly with a team of people that you can trust, you know, and you like, then again, they might be charging you, you know, kind of good rates, let me put it that way. And 4.5 is a good rate to get all of that done. Or if you're someone who's kind of new, you might not know who to go to. You might end up, you know, going to someone who's going to slightly overcharge you for goods as well as overcharge you for labor. It happens. It's the reality. Be mindful of it. You'd be probably paying around 8 grand. Now, traditionally, if you're doing the kind of stuff we do, where you're actually converting a house for a real HMO, it's not something that you're just doing on a rent-to-rent basis. Again, we're talking a lot more money, okay? And the reason we're talking a lot more money is because you may be changing the actual fabric of the house. Now, if you're buying houses and then just making light refurbishment conversion, then again, you might still be in that region of 4.5 to 8 grand. But if you're really upping the level of that property and you're maybe building a rear extension, maybe doing a loft conversion and taking a 3-bedroom house into a 6-bedroom HMO, which still has a substantial kitchen and a substantial lounge for all members of the house, maybe you want to use that as a co-working space or a real viable communal space, then again, we're talking a lot more money. We're talking loft conversions from anywhere from as low as 30,000 to as high as maybe 50,000, depending on how, you know, the spec and obviously the build quality and the people you're getting in, the kind of cost of labor. Then in terms of rear extensions, we're talking about something even similar to that. Maybe you might get a good rear extension done for you for in the 20 region, you know, 19 to 24k. But if you're talking about a high spec rear conversion, you know, high spec rear property conversion can be in the 40,000 pounds range to as high as the 60,000 pounds range. And again, it depends on which part of London you're actually in. There's parts of London where you can get some really good labor at a really good price, and there's parts of London where they want to eat your socks, they want to eat your cufflinks, and they want to eat the petrol that's going in your car as well. Some of the people who are in the chat will be able to testify of exactly what I'm saying. Feel free to write the word amen if you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's the reality. You get some builders, you get some tradesmen, especially in London, who are looking to take everything when you give them a job. So again, please be mindful of that. Going on to the rest of Rex's question, he says the property is a 3-bed. Oh, I should have read the whole question. It says the property is a 3-bed, which will be converted to a 5-bed, all ensuite HMO with 2 kitchens. Okay, so if you're going 3-bed to 5-bed, depending on how you're doing it, you might be doing loft extension, or you might be doing rear extension, or you might be doing both. Rex's next statement states loft and 3-meter extension needed 2, question for later. So let me jump into this. Okay, so Rex, if we're talking loft plus 3-meter extension in order to take a 3-bed to a 5-bed, the first question I'd ask is, why aren't you going to a 6-bed? Because there's no, in my opinion, there's no real point of going to a 5-bed and doing all of that change when you could potentially go to a 6-bed. But again, obviously that depends on the fabric of the property, how the property looks, what's available in terms of the footprint of the property, and also what you can add through means of the loft and the rear extension. But what I'd say to you as a kind of rough, loose budget, look at something like 40,000 for your loft conversion and something like a minimum of 25,000 for your rear conversion. Try and find people who are going to give you quotes. You want to speak to at least 3 builders generally for each of those quotes, so that might be a minimum of 6 builders. And then from speaking to those different builders, you want to kind of tally up what you think works and what you think works in that regard. Now, because you're going for 2 kitchens, you're going to have a slightly additional spend as well. And also in your spreadsheet or in your numbers analysis, always have a contingency budget as well. Some people do 10% contingencies. I haven't found in my history for that to be a real good contingency amount. I would say in contingency world, you want to start from 15% or more. Okay, so I'll say that again. In consistency world, you want to start from 15% or more. So again, if you're saying, okay, 40,000 for the loft conversion, 25,000 for the rear conversion, and we're saying this is in London, that's already 65,000, regardless of any soft furnishings, regardless of the second kitchen, etc., etc. But if you're at 65, add on a minimum of 15% as your contingency as well. And again, most importantly, speak to tradesmen, speak to people who are actually doing the job, find out what kind of prices they come in with, so you can actually get an assessment and choose the right person for you. Now, let me say this before I go on. Rex, let us know in the chat if you're getting value. Let us know in the chat how many stars you give for the answer of the question. And those of you who are getting value from the answers, from the insights that we are sharing, hit that like button. Let the YouTube algorithm know that this is some good content, not just for you, not just for me, but for people who are not aware of what we're doing right now, for them to be able to jump on, for YouTube to push this content to them and tell them, listen, you're interested in property, you should be watching this stuff too right now. So Rex, thank you for your question. Powerful question, great question. And that's what I'd say roughly. We've got Judy in the comments who's given you some insights as well. Judy says she was told recently that you can budget for 13,000 per room. She did a conversion 3 years ago and it amounted to the same. Now look, this is what I'm going to say, and I'm just going to say this to help everybody on the show. If Judy did a project in London and she was recently told she can do 13k per room, okay, and she said she did a conversion 3 years ago and it amounted to the same, do you think the price is going to be the same or more or less? Okay, I want you to think about that, guys. But let's do the maths real quick. 13,000 times 5. If we're doing a 5-bed, comes up with the exact amount that I said a moment ago. That's £65,000. Okay, so roughly we're in the same ballpark, and that's obviously with all the en-suites. However, I see Judy's amen in the comments. However, what you have to bear in mind is that 65,000 is a rough baseline. Okay, I'm giving you a rough baseline, and it comes up to basically the same thing that Judy basically said she was encouraged to use, 13,000 per room. But what I also mentioned, which not everybody does when they do HMO conversions, is the 2 kitchens. If you're adding a second kitchen, that will be additional costs. So again, Rex, that would be kind of my ballpark figure to you. Look at roughly 40k minimum in terms of the loft conversion, a minimum of 25k in terms of the rear conversion. That comes up to 65k as a baseline. Judy said here 13k per room. If you're going 5 beds, 13 times 5 gives you 65,000. So again, we're kind of around the same ballpark figure. Judy, thank you for your comment. Let's keep going. Judy also says there is no increase in supply in the UK, but the vaccination program might have a stabilizing effect on prices. I totally agree with that. But again, I believe that's only going to be for a period of time. I think the vaccinations are going to be rolled out more and more. This is something I've spoken about on the show previously. I think the vaccinations are going to be rolled out more and more and more. And as the vaccinations are rolled out more and more and more, what's going to happen is we're going to have other things happening as well. So again, not many people want to talk about this, but I'm going to be very transparent. There are a lot of reports that have come out about the side effects of these vaccines that have not really been tested as rigorously as older vaccines. And the thing that's interesting is even older vaccines have side effects that are well known and well documented and well publicized. Hashtag the truth about vaccines in terms of a YouTube channel to really understand what I'm talking about. But the point I'm making is, if you are doing your research, what you're going to find is, yes, vaccinations are going to be rolled out. Yes, people are going to embrace them to a degree. But what's also going to happen is adverse effects are also going to be shared with people. And then there's going to be a party of people who are going to be resistant to that specific vaccination, not become necessarily a vaccine, anti-vaxxer, as it's called, but maybe just say, you know what, this particular vaccine they're not interested in because of specific adverse issues. And again, this is we're recording this in March of 2021. There's already a lot of publications coming out about adverse effects from the current vaccinations that people are taking. So I'm not even talking about 3 months, 6 months, 10 months down the line, how people are going to respond when more of that information is circulated and shared. But again, I will say this now because I want you guys to be able to mark my words. This is not going to be a mainstream media thing. It's not going to be on mainstream media where you are going to hear about the adverse effects of vaccinations ever. And partly because, some of these very large pharmaceutical companies who are producing these vaccinations actually fund a lot of the TV channels which we are watching, which actually share the mainstream media with us. So again, just to be mindful, guys, I feel like that's going to have an effect on the market as that news spreads through social media a bit more, or through word of mouth, which is again still in 2021 the best strategy to share information. So I hope people understand that. All right, so again, let me even say this, let me give a little plug to the channel. If you know someone who's investing in property and you think they'll get value from tuning into the Impact Show, feel free to let them know. Hit that share button. Say to your friends and family, hey guys, you know what? I've been tuned in on Saturday to the Impact Show hosted by Samuel. I Can Win, It Can Win. And let me tell you something, you will get value if you are joining that show. Listen, why don't you join the show? Tune in. Here's the link, impactproperties.co.uk/let's go live. And just share this with people. Share it with someone you know. Let someone you know get the same value that you are getting whilst you watch this, okay? Now, I've got to say that. Why? Because I just said to you that word of mouth is still and probably will always be the most valuable and the most powerful way to share information. So guys, I want you to do that. I want you to share this information if you are getting value with other people. So again, Rex, we answered your question earlier. Let us know how many stars you give to that answer. Judy, aka Maria, in the comments, we answered your question earlier. Let us know how many stars you give to that answer. And Yogesh, also, we answered your question. Let us know how many stars you give to that answer. All right, so Maria says, Judy says to me, your assumption is correct. Maria says your assumption is correct. And she goes on to say it is a buy to let. So if it is a buy to let, the new policies, the new legislation that was basically released from Rishi Sunak recently this month does not, again, this is why politicians are interested in how they word things, okay? And this is why we've got to go and dig into the documents that they actually produce, the white papers usually before they've released them, or the actual manifestos after they produce them. We have to go into those and read those. A lot of people don't read that stuff. This is the reason why I share the stuff that I share on the channel, and I share this stuff on our actual videos, because I want you guys to be equipped with the stuff. I want you to see the macroeconomics and not just hear, someone's YouTube video where they're like, yeah, Rishi Sunak said, there's 95% mortgages now. And everyone's like, yeah, I can get a 95% mortgage. Okay, what's the detail? Okay, because the truth is inside of the details. All right, so Maria says to me, your assumption is correct. It is a buy to let, and goes on to say that is fantastic. Thank you ever so much. We appreciate you, Judy, for jumping on the show and also being in the chat. I've got Live Lounge. Am I saying this correct? Is this Live Lounge or Live Lounge? Let me know. Live Lounge says they are new. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. This is the place where you get creative property investing on demand. There is no question too big, no question too small. Feel free to ask your property questions, and this is the place where we'll not only answer those questions, but we will give you massive value. And here's a little plug. As it was said earlier, I'm feeling this so much, I'm gonna start using this. If I could find it. Let's see what Judy said earlier on. Powerful comment. Okay. And Live Lounge, I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, but as Maria Slaughter said earlier, aka Judy, value and Samuel are hand in hand. There is no value without Samuel. So you're in the right place. That's what I'm trying to tell you in the nicest of ways. You're in the right place. Feel free to use this platform to really move forward and move further faster in your property investing journey. So Live Lounge says in the comments, the question is, they have a property. Is it a good time to buy? And is it as simple as putting down 25%? They have a limited company and a good broker. Okay, look, yes, Oh, guys, you got me laughing today. You got me laughing. It's you know what? It's not you guys. It's specifically Live Lounge who's got me laughing, because this question is extremely powerful. So let me share the truth. Let me not just share with you the answer. Let me share the truth, because the truth will make you free. Guys, do you want some truth? Okay. If you want me to share the truth, can I see a letter T in the chat, or side by side with that? If you want me to tell the truth, just write the word truth in the chat. Let me know, guys. Live as in dive. Okay, correct. Perfect. So Live Lounge. Guys, let me know if you want the truth, okay? Because Live Lounge has asked a powerful question. And if Live Lounge is someone who's new to property, I know a lot of the people who tune into this are actually more advanced investors with 8+ properties. That's cool, all right? Because they're the kind of people who like to hang with me. But I've also got a whole entourage of people that love hanging with me, who are new in their journey, who like to find out what's really taking place in the property space. So let's do this. So Live Lounge asked this question, and I can see your truths coming in the comments, guys. I got a truth from Live Lounge. I got a truth from KTR. I've got a truth from Rose. I've got a truth from Mrs. I Can Win. So let's jump in. All right. I'm going to start from the top, take the question, give you the truth, and then give you the answer. And I've given you the answer already, but I'm going to come back and give you that again so you guys understand exactly where I'm coming from with this. The question is, they're interested in property. They have a property. Is it a good time to buy currently? And is it as simple as putting down 25%? They have a limited company and they have a good broker. The truth is this, okay? Buying property is easy. Rex, I see your comment, T, in the chat. Buying property is easy. Let me even be even more explicit with you. Buying property is simple, okay? What's not easy and what's not simple is the two things that I help people with, which is the reason why people instruct me to coach them, which is the reason why people contract me to be a coach to them and a teacher to them, and they end up being one of our students usually. The challenge for most people is this. People find it so easy, and it's not easy like, oh, it's just that easy. I just go to the shop and put 25% down. No, it's not easy in that sense, but it's easy to buy property, okay? It's easy to buy property. But because it's easy to buy property, people mistake the fact that they've bought a property for the fact of whether they've bought a good property or not. Okay. So when you ask your question, I'm answering your question specifically. Okay. Is it as simple as putting down 25%? And if they've got a limited company and a good broker, just cracking on? The answer is yes. You're going to need a solicitor as well, okay, as a bare minimum. If you want to just buy a property in a limited company name, you need a broker, you need a solicitor. And yes, it's that easy. 25% down, you're done. But the problem most people have, which is why so many people who go into property roll out of property, and I use those words specifically, roll out, okay? Roll out sometimes without their t-shirt because they buy what we call a lemon, okay? Is because what most people don't know is the truth about property investing. Now, there is a difference, and I've said this before. This is one of my quotes, okay? Hashtag Samuel I Can Win. There is a difference between property ownership and property investing, okay? Someone needs to go and tweet that, okay? There's a difference between property ownership and property investing. Hashtag Samuel I Can Win. All right. Now, that's one of the slogans. That's one of the quotes I always share with people. I want people to understand that. You see, the ability to go and buy a property and buy another property and buy another property, the ability to buy 7, 8, 9 properties doesn't make you, in my opinion, a property investor. Why would I say that? Because I have several clients who have more than 5 properties in their portfolio. And I can tell you the small keys I share with them to help them rejig their portfolio or look at their portfolio in a different way are radical for those people. You know why? Because just buying property, yes, is simple, but it doesn't mean you're actually investing in property. There is a difference between property ownership and property investment. Now, for you, Live Lounge, again, you said you're new to the channel. I just want to share this with you so you get exactly what I'm talking about, okay? I see your comment here. You have a limited company, you have a builder, you have a deposit, you have tenants, guaranteed rent company, good solicitor. Great. I'm so glad you've got all of those things in place. This is the thing. The one thing you haven't mentioned is the ability to find great deals, okay? Do you have that in place? Do you have the ability to find great deals? Because let me tell you something. We've got a video on the channel, which will be very, very powerful for you, Live Lounge, to go and watch at some point. And that video is basically titled, what do you do first? Do you find property investors or do you find property deals? Do you find investors or deals first? What do you do first? Okay. So one of the things I'm going to encourage you to do, Live Lounge, is not only watch that video, but also watch the video that we did in November, which is how to invest in property for 2021 and beyond. Okay, because that video, short video, less than 8 minutes long, is a very in-depth and insightful video to help people understand how they should be thinking about property investment. Okay, because many people think about property investment the wrong way. Okay, and the reason why is we're not taught this in school. It's not because people are ignorant. It's not because people don't have the level of intelligence. No, it's actually just because we're not taught it in school. So many people go and do it haphazardly, playing it by luck, if I use that terminology, and as a result they don't do very good. Okay. And this, look, I love this, and this is why I ask guys, should I tell you the truth? Because when I start telling you the truth, this is when reality comes out. So Live Lounge says in the comments, no ability to find good deals. How do you do this? Okay, now the first thing I'm going to encourage you to do, if you're really interested in finding great deals, is on Monday at 8 p.m. You can do it tonight, but on Monday at 8 p.m. join us on our masterclass where we break down how you can win in this current climate. Okay, in this current property climate, because one of my specialisms is property sourcing, which is the acquisition of property deals. And many people who engage in property sourcing do not necessarily find great deals. They just find property opportunities or property deals and try to convince people. And this is the funniest thing. I want to say this because I want people to understand this. Those of you who are tuned in, who are part of our community, you see, someone finding a deal and convincing you it's a great deal does not mean they've found a great deal. Now, you've got a lot of people who are great salesmen. You've got a lot of people who are great at showmanship. You've got a lot of people who are great at convincing people. And this is what many people do. They go and find a property opportunity and convince you it's a great deal. A great deal is a great deal. It doesn't need a salesman to convince you. Okay. And you guys, those of you who are into watches, if you're into watches, you know what I'm talking about. You know, when you walk into a watch store, you don't need to be convinced about a great deal on a great watch. If you see a Cartier that you know should cost £38,000 and you can see that that watch is on some kind of an offer and it's going for sale for £29,000, you know that's a great deal. You don't need the sales assistant to say to you, hey, Mr. Akinwin, I'm glad to see you back. You know, this particular piece, this particular timepiece is a timeless piece. No, you don't need to sell me, man. I know what that costs. I know. I've been looking at that watch for the last couple of months. I've been looking in that area. And again, I'm trying to make this language explicit for you guys to understand what I'm talking about as it pertains to property. I've been looking in this area. I know what deals look like in this area. So when I see this for 400 in an area where all of the properties sell for 500, I know I'm looking at a great deal. All right. So somebody got value there. And if you got value, hit that like button. Show the YouTube algorithm this is content that I've needed in my life. All right. Hit that like button and let the YouTube world know that this is some good content. But that's the reality. Okay. So to give you the truth, Live Lounge just for you. Okay. The truth is, yes, buying property is as simple as having a 25% deposit, having a mortgage broker to help you get your mortgage, having a solicitor to help you do the legal work, and basically going to an estate agent and saying, I want to buy 3 bedrooms in Lewisham. I want to buy 3 bedrooms in Tower Hamlets. I want to buy 3 bedrooms in Brixton. I want to buy 3 bedrooms in Croydon. I want to buy 3 bedrooms in Sutton. I want to buy 3 bedrooms in Walthamstow. I want to buy 3 bedrooms in Newham. I want to buy 3 bedrooms in this location. It's that easy. And what will generally happen is they'll ask you some questions. Do you generate 25k a year in a salary if you're going for a buy to let? And the answer to that for most people is yes. And straight after that, they will start writing up paperwork as long as you've secured a property. Okay. So the reality is, the answer to your question, yes, it is that simple. But the truth is, where most people go wrong is they fail to be able to find great property deals. Great property deals will pay for themselves. This is something I'm always quoted saying. And let me tell you something, guys, I'm never going to stop saying that because I've seen that happen myself. 2017 point in case, I bought a property £100,000 less than the value that it was valued by a RICS certified surveyor. Guys, let me tell you something, that property paid for itself. All right. So guys, let me know if you are getting value. Just write the word value in the chat. Maria Slaughter says in the comments, amen. All right. Thank you, Judy, for your comment. We appreciate you. All right. Rex says in the comments, value. Sounds like I need to shop around because I got quoted. I got a quote of 100K plus, which was a little scary. Rex, it depends what you asked for in the quote. Okay. It depends on what you asked for in the quote. But Rex, thank you for sharing that because I'm going to give you some insights to help you with that. Now, first thing, Rex, as I mentioned, let me put you guys on the other camera so you're real close to me. All right. So first thing, as I mentioned, Rex, is it depends on what you asked for. So I'll give you an example. If you asked a particular builder or building contractor, how much does it cost to do a loft conversion as well as a rear extension, as well as a second kitchen, etc. If you gave the whole order to one building contractor, what will generally happen is you will end up with a price like 100K plus. Okay. Whereas if you took one building contractor who doesn't know you want to do all of that and said to them, okay, how much to do a loft conversion, and really clearly outlined the loft conversion, then how much to do a rear extension with a different builder and really clearly outline the rear extension project, and do each of those things that I've just described with 3 particular contractors. Okay, if you do that, you'll see it will be a game changer. The prices you'll get will be completely different, especially if you're speaking to the right people. And even if you do get someone who gives you a price hike, there's nothing wrong with that, because when you speak to 2-3 people, you start to realize after a while, you know what, these are the right questions I need to be asking, these are the right things I need to be saying, this is the language these lot talking. And not only that, the more builders you meet, the more they'll realize, oh, he understands a bit about this, and therefore they'll probably not try and take your shirt as much. Hopefully that helps you, Rex. But again, guys, this is what we do and this is what we're here for. I see my man Callum Baloka in the chat. Mr. Callum Baloka, great to have you on tonight's stream. Hope you're doing well. Hope your property journey is going well. Also, looking forward to helping you push forward in your property journey. So let's make this happen. Where we at? So Rex said it was a little scary. Rex goes on to ask the question, plus architectural costs as well. Yes, your architectural costs, when I'm giving you those valuations, your architectural costs are effectively built in. Most good building contractors will have an architect that they're working with, or if you contract your own architect, one of the great things you can do, Rex, again, this is just a little value add. One of the great things you can do if you do contract your own architectural firm is ask them for builders' recommendations. Now, one thing to bear in mind, most people know this from TV shows, architects are sometimes, some architects, let me not say all architects because I work with some great architects, but some architects are very airy-fairy. They're very out there in terms of their design structure and their design desires. Now, I'm not saying that to say anything is wrong with that, but I'm saying that to give you a contextual idea. And the contextual idea is, if somebody's out there with the fairies in terms of their design ideas, you can imagine the kind of builders they need to deliver those kind of projects. And the moment you imagine the kind of builders they need to deliver those kind of projects, you start to understand that they're probably the higher costing builders. So hopefully that makes sense. And if it makes sense, just write the word sense in the chat. Again, that's not just for you, Rex, that's for anyone. If you guys make sense of what I just broke down, because that was a powerful principle right there, you'd understand exactly how things work. And again, guys, it's all about supply and demand. This is what I'm always talking about. Supply and demand is how it works. It's what we're talking about. Let's jump back into the chat. So Rex says, oh, thank you for answering the question. Most welcome, Rex. This is what we do. Rex, give us a star rating. Usually on the channel, whenever we answer someone's question, we usually ask them to give us a rating in stars of how they found the answer to the question. I see your comment here. Makes sense. Thank you, Samuel. Most welcome, Rex. But yeah, give us a star rating. Let us know 10 stars, 20 stars, 100 stars, 4 stars, how many stars you rate the answer to the question. All right, so I got Judy in the chat. Judy says side effects of vaccination ... Definitely ... But each person needs to research in the same way you would your the same way you would your property journey. Totally agree. Totally agree. Totally agree. Let me move down a bit on that. I totally agree. All right. So guys, Judy's just basically giving everybody a little heads up here and basically just saying, look, guys, do your due diligence. Okay. This is how we live. Do your due diligence. I see Rex in the chat who says 10 stars. Thank you for your comment, Rex. But yeah, guys, we've got to do our due diligence. You know, we there's no point doing 7 hours of research on the acquisition of one single property because you're trying to find a great deal and not doing 1 hour of research on the decision to take an injection. Okay, so I'll just say it like that. All right, in some countries people are injected in order for them to end their life based on a prison sentence that they might have. So again, I think I'll just say that again. Hopefully you guys take my humor and sarcasm sometimes the way it's intended, but yeah, I'm just throwing it out there, but that's the truth, you know. So I think Judy's comment here is very, very powerful. You know, each person needs to research in the same way they would for their property journey, and maybe even more, because let me tell you something, if things go wrong on that front, you will not have a property journey, or your property journey will be radically impaired, or your property journey will be the only reason that you're still around, because it's only because you have a portfolio that you can actually fund your lifestyle if you can't work anymore, for example. Okay, but again, just throwing some stuff out there. I got all my T comments. Thank you guys. I got Live Lounge who says truth. I got KTR who says truth. I got Rose Mitchell in the chat who says truth. I got Mrs. I Can Win who says truth. I've got Rex Banner who says truth. Live Lounge then shared about having all of the things in place. Okay. Limited company, builder, deposit, tenants, guaranteed rent company, good solicitor. And as I mentioned, again, all of those things are minuscule when it comes to the fact of actually knowing how to find great deals. I'll give you an example. Okay, I created this resource. This is specifically for Live Lounge to understand. And again, if you haven't seen this resource, if you don't have this resource, again, this is something you guys should try and get. But I created this resource to help people understand the 10 key players they need in order to build a successful property power team. Okay, so this resource is called Team 10. Okay, it says at the bottom, discover your property power team. That is what this resource is all about. Now, when I created this resource, let me tell you something. I didn't create this resource because I thought this resource on its own would change someone's life. I created this resource because I knew the big question most people had is, who do I need around me as my key power team in order for me to succeed in property? That's why I created this resource, to answer that question. But let me tell you something. Whilst I was creating that resource, we had to work on a bigger project. And that project was the creation of this resource. Okay, this is the 30 Ways in 30 Days training program. Some of you have engaged with this. If you've ever watched this 30 Days in 30 Ways, just write 2 words for me. Write the word watched in the comments, and then write whatever word you would use to describe this resource. If there's anyone in the chat who has watched this resource, who has engaged with this resource, just write in the chat the word watched so we know you've watched it, and then write in the chat any one word that describes what this resource was like for you. Now, the reason I talk about this resource in comparison and in contrast to this resource is because although this resource shows you the 10 key players you need to build a successful property power team, let me tell you and let me assure you something. If you can't find great deals, there's no point having a power team, because all you're going to do is use these 10 key players to help you buy property deals that are of no value to you. Property deals that in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you're going to turn around and say, why did I buy that? Property deals, which in 10 years, you might be like, I've got to sell this. There's no point in me owning this thing. This thing is taking more than it's making. All right. And I want you guys to understand that this resource is called 30 Ways in 30 Days. This resource is, the subtitle says, multiple ways to generate revenue using property. In this resource, we share with you 30 different ways that you can generate revenue using property as a vehicle. Now, that is the reason, again, it's not necessarily the key to how to find great deals. That's more of an extensive training. We teach that on our online program. But again, the reason we teach you how to find great deals on our online program is because it's not something you can just put in a one video program. It's something that's going to take a little bit longer for people to understand, for people to engage with, in order for people to actually get the value out of that. But like I said, listen to me, guys. I mean this with my whole heart. Having the perfect power team without actually knowing Okay, I'm going to say this again. Having the perfect power team, but without actually knowing how you're going to monetize on your property journey, how you're going to make money during your property journey, I'm telling you, is basically worthless. All right. So don't be one of those people, guys, who has a property power team, but doesn't know what they're doing in terms of finding great deals. Okay, go out there, find the great deals. The great deals will pay for themselves. Let's keep going into the chat. Powerful stuff, guys. If you're getting value, let me see the word value in the chat. Let me know that you guys are getting value on this show. It's episode 49, guys. In 3 episodes, we would have hit the 12-month mark in terms of every single week showing up and giving you guys value. Guys, this is a real pleasure to be here and help you guys in this way. So let's keep doing this. Okay, so again, here was the question from Live Lounge. No ability to find great deals. How do you do this? Like I said, sign up for our masterclass on Monday at 8 p.m. We're going to be breaking down exactly how you can take advantage in this current climate and win. If you're looking for the link to sign up for that masterclass, the registration is absolutely free. Link is in the description to this video. Those of you who are watching on a replay, again, link is in the description of the video. We do this every single Monday at 8 p.m. So jump in, be a part of what we're doing. We got Maria in the chat who says, once you get the quote, it is up to you to do your due diligence on the builder. Thank you. That is a powerful comment, Judy. Thank you for sharing that. And I totally agree with that. In Judy's experience, the high quotes are the ones that can't or won't complete the work. Good. Woo! I'll leave that there. I'll leave that there. You could all see the comment, guys. I'll leave that there. Judy, aka Maria Slaughter, thank you for your comment. You guys are going to make me start getting some sound effects on the show. I'm telling you, Judy, aka Maria Slaughter, thank you for your comment. That was a powerful comment. But you know what? Would I say I agree with that? I found that to be similar. I won't say it's a truth, but I found that to be similar. And I think Judy's comments are definitely comments you should utilize. Judy, again, for those of you who don't know, Judy is an experienced investor. Judy's been investing for a number of years. Yeah, Judy's one of the people that have been one of our students in terms of our online program as well, which is why it's great to have her on the stream, because I know she comes with energy. I know she has a heart to help people as well. So this is one of the reasons I appreciate our community. But yeah, Judy, I think Judy's comments are very, very apt, and I think they're very, very relevant to you, Rex, in terms of thinking how you want to move forward. Definitely go and do your due diligence on those builders, regardless of what price they give you, but definitely do your due diligence. Find out what work they've done before. If you can, go and speak to people they've done work for, ask them how their experience was, etc., etc., etc. Obviously, bear in mind, you are going to get their testimonials, you are going to get their referrals from them. So obviously they're going to potentially share with you the best, the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme of the people that they've done work for. So again, just kind of, play everything by ear, be wise. The Bible has a verse which is very, very powerful. The Bible verse says, be as wise as a serpent, but be as harmless as a dove. Okay, so I'll just throw that out there, a little Bible verse to help everybody on tonight's stream. But it's very, very true. You need to be very, very wise, as the most cunning kind of animals out there. But I'd advise, if you're an ethical investor like myself, to also be harmless, just like a dove, like a beautiful dove. So again, guys, that's just a bit of value for you. Okay, so Live Lounge asks another question, quite powerful. Should I not buy in an Article 4 area if I am thinking about an HMO route? Listen, I am not, again, I'm going to say this, I am not with all of these property gurus who tell you never buy in a HMO in an Article 4 area. I don't agree with that. I don't run with that. There are, let me be real, there are jokers out there who tell you you should never buy in an Article 4 area because you'll never get a license. That's not the truth, okay? That isn't the truth. And again, guys, those of you who tune into this channel, I assume you tune into this channel and to this show for the truth. But yeah, that's not the truth. I have publicized several times on my Facebook profile, on our company Facebook page, pictures of HMO licenses we have received in Article 4 areas, and those posts usually start with, here's another HMO license approved in an Article 4 area. That's how I usually start them. And the reason why I usually start them like that is because people don't realize, like, it's not everyone that shouts from the mountaintops that's necessarily telling you the truth. So I wouldn't tell you stay away from an Article 4 area. I would just tell you, if you're going into an Article 4 area, be very diligent. And what I'd actually really advise you is find yourself a coach. Find someone who knows what they're doing in the Article 4 area, whether you're buying or doing rent to rent, to help you. Okay, my man Callum Beloka in the chat asked the question: is it easy to buy a property if you have a 25% deposit, limited company, good broker, but their credit is poor? Now, the answer to that simple question, and I've kind of answered that question already on the show, so I'm not going to answer it again, or I'm not going to go into detail in my answer again, but I am going to add detail on the part of the question which you have, which is different. So my man Callum Beloka at the end of his question says his credit is poor, but their credit is poor. All right. So the answer to that question is yes, because your question is it, or let me not say yes, because you've asked easy. Okay. And the question before was, is it simple? Okay. So I say to people all the time, it's simple, but it's not easy. So I'm not going to say yes, it's easy, but it is simple to buy a property if you have a 25% deposit, if you have a limited company, if you have a good broker who specializes in cases where people have bad credit. So if you're looking for that kind of a broker, again, reach out to me, okay? Those are my coaching clients and those of my students. These are people that I usually connect with that broker. I've got actual panel of brokers I work with, different brokers for different things, but I have a broker that I currently work with and have been working with for a number of years, probably 6 years now. But I've got a broker I've been working with for a number of years who specializes in helping people with poor or adverse credit situations. Okay, again, it doesn't mean they can always solve the problem, but they're the best kind of brokers to try to solve your problem. So the answer to your question, I'm changing your question, Callum Beloka, I apologize, but guys, you know I've got to answer the question with truth. I'm changing your question to: is it simple to buy a property if you have a 25% deposit, limited company, and a good broker, but the person's credit is poor? And my answer is yes, it's simple if you're working with a specialist broker who deals with people who actually have adverse or poor credit. All right, questions are flooding in today, guys. Well done for coming with your A game. Appreciate you guys. I got Maria in the comment, Judy, aka Maria Slaughter. Maria Slaughter, where did you get this name from, Judy? Come on, you are tearing it up in the chat. All right, I'm jumping back into the chat. I was just about to do something. What was it? Okay, I don't remember, so we'll come back to that if I do remember. All right, so questions. Yes, I was saying you guys are throwing these questions in. Okay, yes, I just remembered what I was gonna do. Cool. All right, yes, all done. All right, you guys are throwing these questions in. I like it. All right, so Live Lounge says, is long distance buying a good idea? Example, Kent in Midlands. The answer to that question is yes. Again, I'm going to give you a simple answer, but the answer is yes if you have the appropriate infrastructure / power team to support you in that area. Okay, so that's just a simple answer, because that is kind of a simple question. I get lots of people who ask this question. A lot of people go on massive big 30 grand property courses because of this one question. They don't know the answer to this question, so they go and jump on a 30 grand course. You don't need to jump on a 30 grand course to understand the answer to this question. The answer to this question is kind of simple. The answer is yes, if you have the appropriate infrastructure and power team in that area. If you want to know how to create the appropriate infrastructure and power team in that area, then that's when you probably want to jump on our 7-module online program. And our 7-module online program comes with these resources to help you solve that problem. It comes with other resources as well, which specifically answer how you build that out, but it comes with these resources to help you solve that problem. So that's a little plug, throwing that out there as well. All right, so Rex says, makes sense. Thank you, Samuel. Most welcome, Rex. This is what we do. We appreciate you for being on the channel, on the show, and just, jamming with us when we do go live. Rex says 10 stars to the last question. Appreciate that, Rex. It's always great to have some good stars up in the chat. Rex sends a comment basically to Live Lounge. Says, Live Lounge, generally it is best to buy near to where you live. Yes, I would agree with that as well. It's easier to manage. Yes, or it's also easier to manage whoever's managing it. So I add that on as well. It's easier to refurb, and you know the area better. Well, you should know the area better. Obviously, we don't always live in the area we know as well as other areas. We may know another area better. But I get what Rex is saying, and guys, hopefully Live Lounge, who the comment is directed to, gets what Rex is saying also. However, if prices are too high, you may be forced to invest elsewhere. And I'd change that wording. Again, Rex has said what Rex has said, but I'm saying for me personally, I wouldn't say you're forced to invest somewhere else. Like, I'm a strong believer that we're not forced to do anything. If you don't have enough money to invest in a specific area in London, then what I would say is, if you're wise, you will get creative about how you can invest in that area in London, if that's really what you want to do. I think purpose is more important than product. So what I mean by that is, what you're trying to do, to me, in my opinion, is more important than what you have available in terms of what you're trying to do. So you might have 30,000 in your savings. I'll give an example. One of my students currently, she has 50,000 in savings, okay, and she wants to buy a house in the southeast London area, and that 50,000 isn't enough mixed with her income. Her income's roughly just over 35,000 a year for her to buy a property. Okay, so she's got roughly about enough to deposit on a property in southeast London, but she doesn't have the income level in order to buy in southeast London. And this is residential. We're not even talking about buying a HMO or buying, investment property. But obviously, I've given her some tips on how she can buy residential and set herself up financially for moving things forward. Again, she's using one of my key tips, which I teach all of my students, which is what I've obviously shared with her. But the reason I bring her up is because I want you to understand something very, very simple in terms of this regard. And that is, for this particular student, one of the things I shared with her as it pertains to how to invest is, she said to me, look, Samuel, I've only got this 50K. I can't actually get into the market in the area I want to get into. So I'm going to have to go and buy X place or Y place. And she mentioned two other places, which I don't want to mention and just share too much of the information. But I basically said to her, listen, I said, no, you can get creative with it, and your 50K will go way longer exactly where we are, exactly in southeast London, exactly in East London, exactly where you want to basically invest. And I've showed her how to do that, and she's been active in doing that. She's actually controlling her first property right now as we speak, generating or setting up. She's not actually generating income from it yet, but setting up to generate income from it. This is a property that she got into in February. So we're roughly 60 days. We're less than 60 days. We're roughly around 30 days from when she actually secured her investment in that property. And I'm guaranteeing you guys, before we hit 120 days, before we go into the 90 days, before we go into the 90-day mark, before we hit 3 months, she's going to be generating an income on a property she doesn't even own, because she was shown how to basically be creative with her 50K, rather than just complain and moan and say, oh, I've only got 50K, there's nothing I can do, oh, I've got to go to Birmingham, I've got to go to the Midlands, I've got to go to Kent. So again, guys, I want you to think about it, and this is why we have this channel. This channel is not just for people to learn to invest in property. Yes, the live show might be about that for you guys, to help you guys, but this channel is not about that. If you go watch our videos, our channel is where you get creative property investing on demand. We are here to help you become more creative as an investor. This is why I love it when we have people like Judy who are tuning in. This is why I love it when we have people like Yogesh who are tuning in. This is why I love it when we have people like Mrs. I Can Win. I love it when I have people who I know, like Remy, KTR, Timmy, Callum Baloka, the people who have engaged with me, Ellie Ballroom, all of the people that have engaged with me over the years, people that I've coached, people that have been our students, people that have worked with us, because these people understand how creativity can change your life, how creativity can help you shift from a place where your 50 grand equals one property to where your 50 grand equals a whole portfolio. Okay, so I'm just throwing that out there. But again, guys, let's keep making this happen, and let's keep showing results and examples for other people to learn from. Rex says in the chat, value, appreciate that, Rex. Really appreciate your comment, and let's keep doing this. Live Lounge says, is long distance buying a good idea? Example, Kent Midlands, ? And how much percentage BMV is good? Okay, in terms of the percentage BMV, I don't do the whole BMV thing. Again, that's another thing a lot of these gurus are out here saying, oh, you need to buy below market value. For those of you who are new to the channel or new to property, if you do not know what BMV stands for, B for Bravo, M for Mike, V for Victor, it stands for below market value. I'm not a BMV BMV type of investor. Yes, I've bought properties below market value before, but I'm not a BMV kind of guy. I am a solution oriented property investor. So that makes me a property entrepreneur. I solve problems, and I solve specifically property problems as well as other problems, ministry and educational problems. Now, the reason I say that is because this resource would not exist if all I ever cared about was BMV. And that is the problem for most people who are trying to start out in creative property investing. Most people trying to start out in creative property investing, you know what they're doing? They're listening to all these gurus who only talk about BMV, buy below market value. And because you are looking for BMV every single day, you miss deals every single day. 30 ways in 30 days will show you 30 different ways that you can make money using property as a vehicle. And I can guarantee you, when you understand 30 different ways, even 12 different ways, even 10 different ways, let me be nice, even 3 different ways to make money from property investing, you're not going to stress yourself about looking for BMV deals. You will be looking for great property deals, full stop. Mrs. I Can Win, always on me, always trying to make this show a better show. Guys, let me tell you something. You guys need to be putting a round of applause in the chat for people like Mrs. I Can Win, people who are on our team who make this stuff happen, because they're always trying to make this show better. And that's the reason why our show is as good as it is already. This is why we get all those comments value, guys, not just because of the answers I come with. Yes, I've got a lot of knowledge. I've been investing in property for a number of years. I started out in property in 2005, working as an estate agent. Yes, I've got a history and a backlog with property. But guys, let me tell you something. The real reality that you guys are writing value in the comments when I ask you to write value in the comments is because this show's actually here, and this show's been going on for as long as it's been going on. And I'm telling you that someone like Mrs. I Can Win, the other admin, and the people on the team are the people that make this happen the way it happens. So again, Mrs. I Can Win, thank you. She says in the comments, yes to sound effects. So yeah, we're going to be looking on that. We're going to be looking at that. And look, this means, Judy, you're going to have to show up a whole lot more to the show so we can use the sound effects where we basically call out your name. Judy, aka Maria Slaughter. I hope you guys are ready for that. All right, so yes to the sound effects. Rex says, oh, I missed your comment. Maria, thanks. Judy, Rex, feel free to just go back into the chat. You should be able to find it. Mrs. I Can Win is getting me with the LOL. I hope you and KT are not going to start laughing at me again in this stream. Live Lounge says to Rex Banner, thanks. Live Lounge says, how much percentage BMV is good? We answered that question already, I believe. I got Judy in the chat who says value. I love it. Live Lounge says, how do I buy your resources, please? These resources are bundled in our program, and our program is something we actually talk about on our Monday Masterclass. So again, just jump onto the Monday Masterclass, get as much value as you can out of that Masterclass for free. And at the end of the Masterclass, I will also be speaking about the resources, all of the resources that we basically offer people in a whole bundle, so people have everything they need. One thing I don't like doing, and this is something I've been telling people for years, I'm not one of those people who want to give you something which is incomplete, so you end up going to our next package and our next package and our next package. I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't like that kind of stuff. So I would prefer to not sell resources individually and only offer those resources as a bundle if that bundle is going to help you to find great property deals, for example. And that's basically the bundle we talk about on the masterclass on Mondays is exactly that. It's created to help you find great property deals, and it comes with a bunch of other resources, like a bunch, like a whole bag full when I say a bunch. So again, anyone who's on the particular live stream, who's picked up one of our resource bundles, who's been on any of our training, let us know in the chat. Just say again the word training, and if you've got value from that. All right, I've got Valerie, am I saying this right? Please guys, I don't like butchering names. When I used to work in education, I would make sure I was that teacher who knew every student's name properly. So again, I don't want to be making a butcher of this name, but let me try. It's Valerie, hopefully. Okay, if it's Valerie, tell me it's Valerie, but I thought it was Valerie. They say hello, just joined, welcome. Valerie, let us know if you are new to the channel. I know you said just joined the stream, but if you're brand new to this channel, if this is your first time tuning in, let us know. Just write the word new in the chat, and let us welcome you as a newcomer to the live show. This is the Impact Show, and this is the Impact Properties channel where you get creative property investing on demand. So Valerie says, says, hello. Let me, what am I doing? I'm not even putting the comment on the screen. All right. Hello, just joined. How is she earning passive income on property she doesn't own? Okay, powerful question. This is something that we teach in about 60% of the 30 strategies we talk about in this resource. Okay, so so let me give context, because some people might be watching this and not understand what we're talking about, or you might be like Valerie, you might have just joined and not be understanding what we're talking about. So Valerie's just asked a question, and again, Valerie, let me know, am I saying your name correctly? Is it Valerie or is it Valerie? I don't know, but let me know. I want to say the name correctly because I want to welcome you into our community. Now, Ecosmio says, powerful, good question at Valerie, and it's Valerie as in the song. Valerie as in the song. I believe Valerie. Yeah, that's the song. So it's Valerie. I think if I'm right, Valerie, can I get a thumbs up in the chat, please? Just let me know if I'm right. Valerie, the second one. Okay, I'm right. All right, cool. I feel safe now. With everybody in the chat, including Judy, aka Maria Slaughter. All right, let's keep going. All right, so Valerie asked a powerful question. Valerie asked the question, hello, they've just joined. How is your student earning passive income on property she doesn't even own? Now, as I've mentioned, we have this resource, 30 Ways in 30 Days, which teaches 30 different ways you can make money in property. And I'm telling you, around 60% of the strategies in that 30 Ways in 30 Days are what we call low money down strategies. So a lot of those strategies are about property control and not property ownership. Now, in order to help you, Valerie, to give you this quickest, most succinct, but yet in-depth answer, what I'm going to encourage you to do is go and watch the video in our channel, which is called How to Invest in Property for the Year 2021 and beyond. Okay, how to invest in property for the year 2021 and beyond. Okay, if you want me to throw the link into the chat, I can do that. Just write the word link. That video is a roughly 8-minute video. Okay, but in that video I break down exactly a strategy that can be used in order for you to do exactly what my specific student is doing. Okay, and the reason I want to direct you to that video is because it's faster for you to just go and watch that video and understand exactly what I'm talking about, rather than for you to be thinking, okay, how do you do this, etc. And I'm not, again, I've said this earlier, those of you who've trained with us, who've been coached by us, you know I'm not one of those people who want to take you on a journey and share 100 billion things with you when you only need one. So go get the one thing you need to help you. So Valerie, you've said link in the chat, and I've thrown the link into the chat. So use that and go get the value. That video is an 8-minute and 55-second video where I break down how you can invest in property in 2021 and beyond. And yeah, after this live stream, go watch that and you'll learn. If you want some in-depth knowledge about how she's doing that specifically, join our masterclass on Monday, just like I've invited Live Lounge and everyone else to do. That masterclass on Monday is specifically around how you can win in this current climate, how you can basically still invest in this current climate, using very little of your own money and win. Okay, so again, those of you who have been joining me for the 49 episodes, it's episode 49 today. For those of you who have been with us episode after episode after episode, all of the last 11 months, you guys know some of these strategies because we've spoken about them. For those of you who are with us on the first early episodes, like the first 5-10 episodes, you know the people that were calling in. We had people like KTR, who's on the stream now, I believe. KTR was asking questions in the chat about rent-to-rent strategy. We had people like Yane, who again was calling in, phoning in, asking again about some certain other strategies of control. So again, guys, this is what we do, and it's about creative property investing. So let us make this happen. Okay. So Live Lounge asked the question, I don't know if I answered this already, how do we buy your resources, please? Again, guys, jump on the Monday masterclass. That will give you a bit of an insight. Valerie asked that question, how's she doing this with property she doesn't own? Live Lounge says, this show is fantastic. Thank you, Live Lounge. I appreciate you. Share it, please. If you are getting value, don't be selfish. Don't keep the value to yourself. Do the one thing that I always encourage people to do. Be a cheerful giver. Again, I'm a big reader of the Bible. Those of you who follow me, you know that I take a lot of inspiration from the things I read in the Bible, the principles, and I come and use them in my actual modern life to make more money, to change lives, to help other people, and to add value. That's the reason I do this show, guys, because I'm giving, okay? And that's, again, a principle that I've learned from the Bible. So I want to say the same thing to you. If you are getting value, if you think this is fantastic, if you're watching this and thinking, what? There's a property coach here just giving me the keys, giving me the secrets, teaching me how to invest in property, and it's episode 49. So I've got 48 episodes of a backlog. And for those of you who don't know, I've got 21 days back to back of video content where he's outlined how I can be successful on the 21 days of your property investing success videos that he did from the 1st of January 2021 to the 21st of January 2021. And every Monday he's running a live masterclass where he's going to break down how I can invest in property in this current climate and win. Yes, guys, all of that is on our channel. And as Mrs. I Can Win says in the chat, don't forget to press like, okay? Because it's that simple, guys. It's that simple. All of this stuff is to help our community move further, faster. And the only thing you need to do is just hit the like button. You know, just hit that like button and let YouTube know I'm getting value from this content. Side by side with that, share it with someone. Tell somebody, hey guys, I'm watching this stuff. It's valuable. It's changing my life. It's helping me, showing me how to do more in property. I want you to see the same also. So like we've said, guys, you know what to do. Do all that YouTube stuff. Hit the like button, press subscribe, hit the bell notification, and all of that jazz. Let's keep going. Okay. All right. So Valerie asked the question further. Can you answer my question, please? Okay. So elaborate. Valerie, are you talking about how she's making money from the property she does not own? Okay. If you are, I can definitely go into that. Also, Kimwin says in the chat, value. Thank you, also Kimwin. We appreciate you. For some reason, my chat doesn't seem to be loading up. I'm not sure why. Guys, can you get on that, please? Okay, it's loading up now, it seems. We've got Valerie who says again, yes, they are brand new. Valerie, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to what we're doing. Be sure, whilst we're on this video or when this video finishes, jump into the description of this video, read the comments. Read the description, read the links in there, read the value we've got in there to help you move forward in your property investing journey. And again, like I said, if I haven't answered your question and it's specific, just ask again and I'll definitely jump into that. All right, so Cosmios says, good question, Valerie, thank you for that. And it's Valerie as in the song, saw that comment. Valerie, the second one, Valerie says yes, laugh out loud. Okay, we got everybody laughing in the chat. I'm loving this. Mrs. I Can Win, laughing faces. Valerie saying laugh out loud. And we got Valerie saying thank you. So I assume I've answered the question. Okay, Valerie says, yes, please. I've seen your comment now. Yes, please go into more detail. Okay, now I cannot do that right now just because our show is actually up. We've been here for a number of hours today. Our live stream has gone for over 2 hours, and usually we only do the 1 hour show. So I do apologize, Valerie. We don't have the time. But as I mentioned earlier, our Monday masterclass is going to break all of that down. So be a part of our Monday masterclass, which is coming up on Monday at 8 p.m., which is absolutely free for you to jump onto. It is of no cost to you. Now, for those of you who are getting value from the show, for those of you who are new to the show, for those of you who have not done this before, what I want to encourage you to do is go to this link right here, impactproperties.co.uk/book list, and go and get the 7 best books for your property investing success. I'll say that one more time, the 7 best books for your property investing success. These are not books I've written. These are just books that I've engaged with, read. You know, I've written a chapter of one of the books for one of my friends. But guys, I'm telling you, go get these books, read these resources, and let them help you. If you're very advanced, there's nuggets in there. If you're brand new, there's nuggets in there. And more importantly, if you're someone who just wants to win, then again, you may not really want to jump into the books and spend money on the books. But one thing you do not want to do is miss our upcoming masterclass on Monday. So guys, as I've mentioned, it's been a value-packed show today. We've answered questions, we've shared research, we've looked at the news. We've also spoke about the macro, not just the micro. So if you want to get any more value, what I want to share with you is to go to this link right here, www.impactproperties.co.uk/masterclass. That's impactproperties.co.uk/masterclass. One more time for my people in the back, impactproperties.co.uk/masterclass. And when you go to that link, you will be able to register for our upcoming masterclass on Monday, where we will break down with you how you can use creative property investing to move further, faster in your property investing journey. Now, with all of that being said, I want us to finish with you guys sharing with me in the chat, what is the one key takeaway? What's the big piece of value that you got from this specific episode 49? And guys, I'm going to love you and see you on the next one. So without further ado, as I usually say, happy investing.